Hey folks, Fast Freddy D here. Today I'm going to do a little review on some of the gear I use for my cooking. If anybody was interested in that, stick around and we're going to go through it. By no means do I bring all of this with me every time I go cooking. And the fact of the matter is this has never even been out in the woods with me. That's just here as a reference so I can show you something later. With that said, if you like these kind of gear reviews, I'm going to be doing more and more of them, trying to, more affordable gear that you can take camping with you. None of this stuff, nothing on this table is high end or very expensive. It was all cheap, either bought at Walmart or Amazon. So, with no further ado, we'll jump in here and we'll take a look at some of this stuff. Okay, the first thing in our kit is hydration. You gotta have a reliable, clean water source while you're out there. It's just it's so important. If you even go half a day without drinking when you're physically active like that, it can just make you sick. The first thing, when I'm in the boat, I like to use the LifeStraw. This is a really nice little system. You take them apart, the filter comes out, you can fill the bag right out of the boat. If you're offshore a little ways and you get a few inches under the water, believe it or not, most lakes, the water's pretty clean. There isn't hardly any particulates in it at all. These filters are really nice. This end here, they open right up so you can flush them, and they're wicked easy to clean. The other end comes off too. I'm not going to take it all apart for you. If you want to see a review on this, just give me a holler and I'll do a quick review showing you everything about it. But this right here is probably one of the best little portable ones. Don't rely on this to do all of your watering, because you literally have to create a negative pressure on this. You have to suck on it to get the water out of it. If you squeeze it, they did not do a good job on the seals. This isn't the first one of them I've seen do this either. The bad water can squirt out around this and it would contaminate if you're trying to squirt it into a pot. So that's not something you want to do. This is more just something to sit right there and then you can just suck the water out of it. Works really, again, what I say, it works really good in the boat. It's light, doesn't take up any space. Easy to throw in your pack if you're just on the trail. Around camp, I prefer the Sawyer Mini. They have the Sawyer Squeeze. There's a Sawyer Gravity System. One of my first videos I did was on the Sawyer Mini, and I set up my own gravity fit system. If you want to check that up, I'll leave a link down in the bottom. But as far as like doing a large amount of water around the campsite, I really like this system. It's light, small. I bought this bag online. I have another one with a little bit of a setup. Like I said, I'll leave a link to the video that I did with this where I set up a gravity feed. Works really nice around the camp. Saves a lot of time. But I can't stress enough about having a good, clean water source. The last thing you want out there is beaver fever. My goodness, you will wish you'd never drink unprepped water if you ever get it. Now let's see what else we're going to move on to. Okay, the next thing we'll take a look at is heat sources. I bring several lighters throughout my backpack. There's usually one of these in my pocket. I have another one in a Ziploc somewhere, and then I have another one sealed up somewhere else. I'll go through that a little bit later on. But I always carry a lighter. Matches, that's a personal choice. I found that if you get to even waterproof matches, if you get to the point where a Bic lighter isn't going to work, waterproof matches are that's up to you. The next thing I always bring with me, and you'll see in a couple of my videos if you've watched any of them, is a striker. This one here is called the Uberleben. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right, but this is I've done my research. This is one of the best ones on the market out there. Get a really good flame off it. As you can see, I've used the heck out of this over the years, so I will 100% endorse that right there. That's a good one, and they make different sizes. There's one bigger. Next thing you're going to want to think about is you always can't have an open fire. The last few years, even around here, things have been so dry that we've had a basic fire ban going on. You have to check your local restrictions. This is just a tiny little titanium outdoor stove that you can just fill, you can just chuck a little bit of twig stove right there. You can throw a little bit of twigs in there and get yourself a pot of coffee going or fry up something quick. This one's on the small side. This is just the first one I ever bought. I'm not really big on these, but a lot of people like them. They're nice and rustic. I still don't like if I can't have a fire, then I really don't like the idea of having this thing out there. Last thing I need is a fire on my hands. That's nothing you want to deal with out there. But this is an option if they allow it. Like I said, check your local restrictions. This is my go-to. This is the Peak One by Coleman. I've been using this one now for about 3 years. Works great. Works great. I mean, when you want to cook and you're on the trail, and this tank, it seconds as my light source as well. I've got a small lantern that we'll be looking at here in a minute too. This is, I prefer it. I mean, the tank's a little heavy, but what the heck. They tend to burn no matter what the weather. Bam, you're cooking. I mean, you're not gathering sticks. Again, we're down to that. If I'm sitting around the campsite, I don't mind making a fire, but if I'm on the trail and I want to stop and have a cup of coffee or boil some water to do a dehydrated meal, I want to be able to bang. I want to be able to cook. This works so nice, bam, and then you're back, and it packs up. It's a little hot, but it packs up nice like that right there. Let that cool off for a minute while you're eating, and it goes right back in your pack. Simple as that. 90% of my cooking gets done on this right here. Let's see, what are we going to take a look at next? I think we'll take a look at our pots and pans. Now we'll talk about cooking implements. First off, most of the campsites I go to, at least on the more popular ponds, they usually have grills sitting there. People drop them off. But a lot of times, if you get off the trails, they don't. I bought this from Boundless Voyage Outdoors on eBay for around 15-20 bucks. This is a titanium grill. Comes with a little carrying case. It's actually a pretty nice little deal. Keeps the dirt and stuff from getting in your bag. But that works pretty good. And it's really nice to have something like that with you. I usually deep freeze a steak, and then I'll either have that the first night, or if I can keep it frozen up, wrapped up in a towel or something, I'll eat that the second night. Moving on. Really, it's nice to have a frying pan and stuff. I eat a lot of dehydrated meals, but a lot of times I'll bring eggs with me and stuff like that. If I get the option of bringing my little cooler with me, I'll bring that too. But this is my little aluminum mess kit. I've had this quite a while now. When you take the lid off, it doubles as a plate. And then inside, I'll keep my burner, a few fire starting implements, a lighter, just simple stuff like that right there. I'll grab some ketchup packs from McDonald's, or some salt and pepper packs, and throw those in there too. It's really nice. It holds quite a bit in there. You can keep all your napkins. I usually got a couple of plastic forks in there too, just in case something happens to the one I eat with. But outside of that's pretty nice with the frying pan. And then we move on to you really should always make sure you have a pot. With this kit right here, the first thing I did was throw the cup in the little pot that went with it. The cup wasn't big enough to really make a cup of coffee worth drinking, and the pot was just big enough to make a mess with if you tried to like do a bowl of soup or something. A can of soup was just a hair too much for it. My first pot is this is put out by they're hard to say their name, Tomshoo. It's Tomshoo. This is a 750 milliliter pot. It comes with a lid and a little bag to keep it in. I really like this pot. This pot's good if it's big enough where you break a ramen noodle in half. It's just right to making ramen noodles and stuff like that. But that'll boil more water than you'd think. The next one is this one here is really my workhorse, and it makes because they pack right inside each other. But I really like it because my little lantern fits right inside this 500 milliliter one, which is almost the same. It doesn't have the hanging pot, but it's got everything else there, the handle and the lid, and that holds just about enough water to do one of those dehydrated meals. Now, don't get suckered in on a lot of the backpacking sites. They'll have these same pots, and I think they even have like a 1,000 milliliter one. They'll charge you out the butt for these. I found these on eBay for a half, maybe a third of the price they were asking for these same exact pots, just under a different name on some of the big with backpacking sites and camping sites like that. So don't be fooled. I've seen these right next to them. They're the exact same titanium pot, right down to the rivets and how they're put together. So don't go spending a pile of money on those, but they're titanium, and they work real well. They're light. What I really like is this one here. It fits my lantern perfect. And I keep my lantern in there, which is really nice because that doubles up and runs off the same tanks as my cooker does. So even the little small tank will last me a whole weekend, 3 nights, and all the cooking I need to do. So like I said earlier, I really I prefer the gas over any other way to cook or heat food. last but not least, I have my little espresso maker. You can have instant coffee if you want out there, but I found that this style of espresso maker makes the best cup of coffee that you could ever have. And if you bring in a little bit of creamer and sugar with it, oh my gosh, it changes the whole day being out there. Now this one here is an old vintage one that I picked up online. My newer one, this only holds 8 ounces. My newer one holds 16. And I got it at Big Lots. And you can get them there too. They're only about 12 bucks. They're an awesome little coffee maker. Pretty self-explanatory how they work. If not, you can check out any of my videos. I use this all the time. Other than that, that's about it for our backpacking. If you have any questions about any of this, feel free to leave a comment down below. I'll be sure to get back a hold of you. If you want to see any further reviews on any of this gear, just let me know again in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to take a closer look at some of this stuff. If you like what you saw, hit the like and subscribe button. And if you want to see you next time, make sure and hit that bell so you'll get a notification the next time I put out a video. Until then, thanks for watching, and catch you next time. Have a good one.